the two travelers in Mexico. We are back in a park, filming part 3 of what we thought originally was going to be a 2-part series about questions and answers. But questions keep coming in and they're good questions, so we'll just keep answering them.
Yep, and I picked 2 of these up. Whoops, oh. It's peeing on me, shoot. Anyhow, I picked 2 of these up from a street vendor on our walk here to the park, and I think what's happening, oops, shoot, I don't have the bag sealed very well. I think what's happening is we're seeing more street vendors that are out, don't you think? And more people walking around now? More vehicles on the street, more people out. There's more people in the park today that we've seen in the past 1 or 2 times we've been in here. Yeah, so things are starting to come more live in Mexico, at least in Morelia anyhow. So I don't know what Mark's going to do. Paulette is still in charge of the camera because I'm still on camera probation. He is. Which leaves my hands free. What are you doing? Weirdo. Anyhow, so we decided to come to the park today and feed the ducks. We bought some bread the other day when we were at Sam's to feed them, and that's about it. Like I said, answer more questions that came in. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I just want you to know during this video process I will be doing most of the filming because Mark has been naughty on just doing a headshot. From my point of view, naughty is not necessarily a bad thing. But, that's just me. Anyhow, so he might be off of probation soon. I hope not. Well, so the first question that we have comes from Alex. No gracias. So the next question that we have is here. Aquí. Here. You want to feed it? No? Okay. Anyhow, the next question that we have comes from Alex, and he wants to know about sanitation of food. And I would say sometimes you'll see gloves being used, sometimes you won't, especially off the street vendors. But it's all good. I think that it means that you got a better system fighting off germs that way. We have never gotten sick from eating any street food, and we've done that for the last 6 months. So, and then in my video that I was talking about the other day about Montezuma's Revenge, that was actually at a resort that we stayed at, and I think it was from the ice not being sanitary, is what I think. Because we ate at some nice restaurants at a resort, and that was, like I said, I was like 25 and I'm old now, so whatever. But do people get Montezuma's Revenge? Probably. I don't think it's that often, but I don't know. I mean, knock on wood, I think that we've been lucky maybe these six months that we've been here, or maybe you don't really get it that often. That's my say on that. And as a follow-up to that, I did some reading online, and it said basically that Mexicans are pretty much immune to that because they already have the bacteria in their stomach to fight that off. It's just foreigners that are particularly subject to that, and you get it through food and water, ice, and they still say not to drink the tap water here in Mexico. Just try to drink the purified water that you get in the bottles. Hola. So, anyhow, that's our take on that question. Yeah? Ooh. So the next question comes from Buddy. Yeah. The next question comes from Buddy, and and Buddy says Have we ever thought about traveling other places in the world? Now, I'm probably a little bit more seasoned than Mark. I've been to Russia.
FYI, she's much more seasoned than me. Just saying.
In good ways and bad ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been to Russia, I've been to Thailand, I've been to Canada twice, but I've been to, where else have I been? I've been to the Bahamas, I've been to the UK. You want moss? Moss? See? Okay.
Well, and then we have been to Ecuador a couple of times. We've been to Spain. We've been to Portugal.
I don't know. I've been to a lot of places. I can't even think of all the places that I've been to right offhand. But Spain and Portugal we really liked a lot. But yeah, but I don't know. I just love the Mexican culture. It just spoke to my heart, and that's why we're here. So I think what we're gonna do is okay. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna spend most of our time just traveling around Mexico. Whoops, right here, aquí. Okay. I think we're just gonna spend most of our time here, traveling around Mexico, and traveling around Mexico. I mean, Mexico has what, 31 states or something? 31, 32, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just get
plus
confused
Mexico
on the number.
City.
So, we're just going to spend our time as soon as this quarantine lifts, that I think is going to be really soon. We're just going to travel around, probably by bus, most likely, because the tolls can get kind of expensive. And then there's also the tolls that are run by the locals, where they won't let you go by, and they'll put out a big what? Like one of those big yellow...
Like a big yellow blockade or cone.
Yeah, like a big yellow cone, and they won't let you go by unless you pay them a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
And usually it's pretty reasonable. Sometimes it's not. But anyhow, it is what it is. I think it's cheaper really to just take the bus, not have to deal with the stress, not have to deal with the tolls that you might come across, because sometimes you come across them pretty darn fast. I mean, it seems like within 5 miles, right? Sometimes you hit another one, and then sometimes it's 20 miles, and then you might hit 2 in a row again. So anyhow, so no, we're not really gonna travel the world. One place that's on our bucket list, well, my bucket list, is Greece, and the other one is Israel, and that's on Mark's bucket list, and Italy, because he's Italiano.
And the other thing about taking as a bus is you don't run over these topes that would launch a small vehicle practically into space.
Yeah.
So our next question comes from Cam, and he asks, would you buy real estate or just continue to rent? And I think for the time being, we're just going to continue to rent, only because it's so cheap here to rent, as opposed to buying. And apparently maybe I'm getting the talking head treatment here.
You were getting the head cut off. Now I'm just going to give you the talking head.
Okay. So, I'll stand taller.
I can lift this.
We're just going to be renting for the foreseeable future. If at some point we find an area in Mexico that we really love and we realize we're going to be here for years, then yeah, we'll go ahead and buy. And real estate is, so inexpensive here that you can buy. But just realize that if you buy something here, it's not like real estate in the United States. If you turn around and try to sell it, you might be trying to sell it for years. So that's the one drawback to that. The next question is also from Cam, and he asked if we ever visited Ajijic, and no, we have not done that yet. Maybe at some point in the future we will. We don't really have any plans right now. We understand it's a fantastic place. A lot of expats migrate there, Ajijic, Chapala. So, I don't know. It's not in our plans right now.
And as far as I'm concerned, it's not in our plans at all. Maybe to visit. It's too much of an expat community where, they're very comfortable at speaking English, and they're not taking the time to learn the Spanish language. And I want to live among the locals, and I want to have some Mexican friends and all that other stuff. So I don't think that really works for me.
But I think he's just talking about visiting there, not necessarily living there.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so we answered both questions, I guess. Visiting and living there. So you got an extra bonus on that one. So the next question comes from Cam, again, and he wants to know like how we spend our time, you know, in Morelia. Probably no different than what you guys do, you know, just staying inside your house most of the time. Although we do get out and we are going to the park. So we are doing that. Do you want some bread to feed the ducks? You want that? No? No? Okay. Anyhow, so, you know, the other thing that we do is we go out, I think about every 2 weeks with another couple that we know here that are expats. We usually go out to dinner, we go out to lunch, and then we'll usually play games at their house or our house. And they taught us a real fun game. What is it called? Rummy Cube.
Rummy Cube.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be looking for that game to buy. But that's what we do. I mean, we can walk to the park, we can walk in town. There are stores open. More stores are opening, I'm noticing. You know, so maybe we have a little bit more freedom here in Morelia than other places in Mexico. And probably more so.
¿Cómo está? ¿Qué le dijeron de la nueva promoción?
Hola.
Chéquele. ¿Usa celular, verdad? ¿O tablet?
No, it's for your mobile power bank.
Es una nueva pila para su celular en caso de que se quede sin
We
pila.
already have one. How do you say we have in Spanish? You know?
I think it would be Nosotros Tango.
Yeah, nosotros tengo.
Nosotros Tango
We have.
Uno.
Pero mire, solo por el día de hoy
Sí.
se la voy a dejar en un precio de $99.90.
No, no, gracias.
¿No? Ok, gracias.
Lo siento. Do you want some? No?
And that
You
is
don't-
an example of salesmen in the park. We do get people that come up to us all the time just selling different things.
Yeah, selling ice cream, selling whatever.
Another question that came across was by Evelyn, and she asks about an updated video. So we haven't really been keeping track of our receipts this month, so we'll do that next month and then put out an updated video about our monthly expenses in the beginning of July to cover June.
Because, you know, we've been staying home a lot. We're not eating out that much. We're not traveling via bus. We're not staying at hotels, checking out other areas. So, I mean, our budget is basically just spending food and paying rent.
Yeah.
That's about all we've really been doing. So next month we'll keep a budget because next month in June we're planning on doing some more travel videos, so that'll be cool.
Our next question comes from Darren, and he asks, how serious do Mexicans take themselves and do they enjoy banter? Well, let me tell you, Mexicans like to have fun. They do enjoy banter quite a bit. A lot of times Paulette and I will just be walking up the street and then people just come up and start talking to us. And we had an instance like that just a couple days ago where a fellow asked if we were tourists or not, and we told him no, that we lived here. Turns out he works for the tourism board, but and he and his wife spoke English, and we talked to them for, I don't know, a good 15, 20 minutes
15
maybe.
minutes at least.
But yeah, Mexicans enjoy banter. They enjoy talking to each other. If you walk up to them and ask good questions, they'll respond with more than a one-word answer. They'll, I would say, yeah, they're very welcoming, and they enjoy talking a lot, having fun.
And one other thing that I wanted to add, it was the couple that Mark was just talking about. We told them, because we had our camera in our hand and stuff, our GoPro, and we told them that we do videos on YouTube and stuff, and he asked us the name of our channel, and we told him. Well, later on, Mark and I, probably half an hour, 40 minutes later or so, we were walking around in town, and him and his wife came by on their bicycles, and he shouted out to Mark, what did he say? Like, I saw your video.
We watched one of your videos.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So, I mean, stuff like that doesn't happen too often in the United States. People aren't, I don't think, being from the United States my whole life, is as friendly.
Another one of our viewers, Darren, asked about an eBay version in Mexico, and well, there is eBay Mexico actually, and they sell all the same things that you would see in the United States. In fact, you can even order from eBay Mexico and have them shipped overseas, but you have to be a part of their overseas shipping program.
So the last question that we have comes from Dan, and he wants to know basically about the process in the United States to Mexico on getting our residency here. And we both got temporary residency. How it works is you have to show the financials, whether it be a savings, whether it be retirement, you have to prove to them. So you need to bring your financials to them. Of course, you need to bring your passport because they're going to stamp that if you get approved in it.
And what she's talking about is the Mexican consulate in the United States, which is where you have to start the process.
Right, and it doesn't have to be like where you live. It can be anywhere within the United States that you need to just go to. You need to just go to a Mexican consulate within the United States. And you can try going to one that might be a little bit easier. You could ask around. So anyhow, so you go there, you prove your financials, they ask you why you want to go there. They do like a little short interview with you and ask you some questions. And then they usually tell you to come back. That's what they did with us.
Yeah, in a couple hours.
Yeah, come back in a couple of hours. But before they tell you to come back, they'll give you a slip and you go over and you pay, it's $36 US. So you pay that, you get your receipt, and then you take that back to them. And then they'll say, okay, come back in 2 hours, come back in 3 hours, something like that. And then you go back there, and then they'll tell you that you've been approved. And now for us, we gave them copies of our bank statement, and we did not get those back.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if people normally do, but they kept ours. So make sure that you make copies of things, like make a copy of your passport, make a copy of your driver's license, make a copy of your bank statement, because that stuff will probably end up staying with them most likely. I have heard in some cases that they do get it back, but we do not. So anyhow, so they stamp it, and from the day that they stamp it, you have 6 months. Okay.
To get across the border.
Right, to get across the border.
Once you cross the border, you have 30 days to start the process in a Mexican city, wherever you're going to be residing.
Right, and now so we hired somebody to do that process for us because we were totally clueless, new to the area, and we wanted to start it as soon as we could. We started it, we got in like, I don't know what day it was, but anyhow we got in like on around the 17th or something, and then we started it like around the 22nd or 23rd, something like that, and we hired somebody to do it. And we just signed some paperwork. They took the stuff to the, what do you call that office? I can't think.
They took it to INM.
Yeah.
And by stuff, she means they took our passport.
But anyhow, so then you have 30 days from then. Then you need it stamped at least within those 30 days by INM.
Right.
Right? IMN?
Yes.
Yeah. So you need it stamped by them. And then afterwards, a couple of weeks goes by, you have to go back in and you have to do your fingerprints. And then I think about a week or so later, they call you back and it's good to go.
Yeah, it took us, that whole process I believe took us close to 45 days. We started it in late November and we got our temporary residency cards in early June, early or mid-June.
June?
Sorry, early or mid-January.
Is that when we got it? Because I know we also applied for IMSS, and we got that. We did that in January, got it in February.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyhow, so I know I'm like all over the place because I'm ADD, don't forget that. So that's about all the questions that we have that you guys have thrown at us. So if you have more, let us know. We'll throw them in some videos. If you don't, give us a heads up on what you want us to talk about next.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll be seeing some travel videos soon. Today's the 28th of May, so I'm hoping by second week of June we will be released out into the wild. So
Well, as wild as a couple of 60-year-olds get.
I can be pretty wild, I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, so that's that, and we hope you enjoyed this video. And if you didn't give us, well, don't give us a thumbs down.
Yeah.
But give us whatever you have to say, but not a thumbs down. I don't like rejection. I'm not too good with rejection.
Yeah.
So today's filming will be done by me only. Stop it, you weirdo. Today's filming will be done by me because Mark has been naughty for only doing headshots.
Naughty.
So.
Naughty's not always a bad thing. For me, anyway.
Anyhow, so he's on probation for a while, and
I hope a good long time on probation.
So we'll see how that goes. I may give him back the camera, I may not.